Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy V-Day!
Get killed, all right?
What was...
Why would he say that?
I think this movie hinges on your chemistry, so I'm gonna start there. Can you each tell me the very first thing you saw the other do that made you say, like, yes, he is the J to my alley, and vice versa?
Please.
No, I'm thinking. This is my thinking phase.
Take your time.
I look into the abyss.
Take your time.
Do you have one?
I do.
Oh, then say it.
Okay, so when we first met, we were in a makeup room and we hadn't had an interaction. There was no chem read. I obviously am a big fan of Olivia and still carries through to this day. But there were enough people and there was enough commotion was going on, and I was just trying to think of, like, how do I engage with her that doesn't make me look like a dweeb, but also is memorable and maybe makes her feel comfortable and like I'm here to, have a good time and make a good movie. And before I could think of anything, she walked across all the people, came over and was like, "Hi, I'm Olivia. I've heard so much about you. I'm very excited to work with you." And I was like, "All right, I'm in." That's all it took. It was
a few words.
A simple look. Well, it's also just the general atmosphere is one in which I was fully invested in. So thank you for being lovely inside and out.
Someone taking that initiative can mean a lot, too.
Likewise.
Especially in a
yeah.
high-pressure environment like
That's
the movie
it.
set.
That's it.
Yeah.
So what's your answer? When did I...
I do. Okay, I like vaguely remember that moment because
Yeah.
I had freshly just got off of my 14-hour flight to New Zealand. Such a special moment. Agreed.
She's like, I'm still thinking of the time
I'm
in which
still
I'm gonna
thinking.
find out.
No, I think probably our first day of shooting when we were actually our characters, because I didn't know how you were going to portray Jay, and you didn't know how I was going to portray Allie, and I think that first day just like it solidified. Like I was so happy. I went home and I was like, this is going to be the best making this movie with him.
That first day was
Yeah.
monumental.
Yeah.
It was really helpful.
All right, I'm gonna build on that now. So you have a very good impression right out the gate of each other, but now I wanna know during filming, can you each recall a time on set when you saw the other do something that made you stop and go like, I knew you were gonna be good, but I never realized you'd be capable
I
of
see
that?
what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, obviously you're a spectacular actor, and I hope I don't need to go into how incredible your performance is from a dialogue and delivery standpoint. It's all remarkable, and that has always been the case. What I think was unbelievably impressive to watch was a day in which I had off because we were filming a stunt sequence in a park. You know where this is going. And I came with my camera, and I just wanted to be around set, and I bore witness to Olivia engaging in a stunt sequence that was not only locomotive and moving, and also involving heavy choreography that I assume you guys had worked out. And then there was a bit where it carries on into a sequence, still in the same stunt sequence, that in watching, I was like, that's someone who has such control and understanding of her own physicality that I absolutely want to be better at my job, specifically in that facet, but also just in general, to make sure I'm not leaving her out in the dust. I want to work at that level. So thank you for inspiring me each day.
That's very sweet.
Hell yeah.
Job well done describing that without spoiling anything.
I know, yeah, look
I
at
feel
that.
like people are gonna see it and then listen to this and know exactly what
gonna
you're
know.
talking about.
That's right.
They're gonna know.
Yeah.
Olivia, how about for you?
Yeah, how about for you?
I have actually a very similar one. But it was, I think it was when you were practicing, you were doing some stunt rehearsal, I think for our finale moment in the movie. And because we had to rehearse all of that stuff very, very early on, just so we had it in our body and in our bones and knew what we were gonna do on the day. And kind of a very similar experience. You with all of like our stunt actors just sort of like took control, and you guys were like working things out, and like I hadn't seen it yet, and I hadn't been a part of it, and you'd been working on it while I was shooting other stuff. And I remember going in and being like, oh, okay, yeah, you like he's good, it's handled. And no matter like if something goes wrong on the day, you got it under control.
Yeah.
and things went wrong, and you got to.
And we still had it under control.
That's movie making for
That's
you.
it. That's movies, baby.
To build on the idea, I guess, of like having things in your bones.
God, you're a good journalist. That was hell
You
yeah.
haven't even heard my question yet. Don't give me any credit.
Go for it.
But I love hearing about an actor's experience being able to like take it to an 11 the second action is called. So can you two maybe list off some like techniques or tricks you've picked up over the years so that you can get there the second it is go time?
Yeah, I think across the board, and I'm obviously very curious to hear what you say. I think a lot of it comes down to comfortability, which has to either be manufactured through a method or a means by which to access performance in an internal feeling of comfort and confidence. And a lot of times actors need to either procure a moment or take their time to access it. The most tried and true method for my process, I would say, is a connection with a scene partner, someone I'm working with. Hopefully a director is as talented as Josh, although that's very hard to come by because of his level of brilliance. But the goal is to take the known aspects of a movie, the script, the tone, the visuals, and allow that to infiltrate your psychology so that when it's time to say action, you can kind of just do what actors call dropping in. But sometimes it takes a little longer than that, and you just gotta be accepting of it, I suppose. Practical effects help as well, because you can really feel the gravity of a scene when something's actually taking place in front of you instead of a green sock or what have you.
I would agree with you. I'll piggyback off of something that you said, which is the scene partner and feeling comfortable. And I think we both did a really good job with each other and with the other actors that we got the chance to be in any scene with. We're starting so many of these scenes like in the middle of like a hectic moment. And just for like a fun little BTS visual for you, like a lot of those scenes started with us running. And we were already mid-run. So Mason and I would do like a lot of like jumping up and down and jumping jacks to try and like get the adrenaline going before we would go into that scene.
This is important.
Rehearsals also. I had one of the most productive rehearsals with Olivia and Josh before we had even started filming a scene that was very integral to the characters and their relationships. It was a dinner scene, and Josh had easily one of the best moves a director could have thought of, and we were trying to figure it out, and it wasn't feeling quite right for one reason or another. And Josh was like, "Let's try something," and he wrote 2 notes on 2 cards and handed us them, and he was like, "Don't tell each other what it says. Let's do the scene again." And the second I read it, I was like, "Oh, I got it." And we went in, we did the rehearsal, and it felt like lightning. And I'm not going to tell you it was on the note, but I can tell you it was the right thing at the right time, and it led the rest of my thoughts in terms of the production.
I love that.
itself.
It's not easy to hit the right balance between horror and comedy, and you two, like, true perfection. You get this subgenre, and I enjoyed it quite a bit.
That's
Congrats
all
to
Liv.
both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.